Justice Department to investigate Jeffrey Epstein's ties with high-profile Democrats, including Bill Clinton, J.P. Morgan, and Reid Hoffman. ABC's Karen Travers.
This is another attempt by the president here to turn the attention to Democrats. He has called this a hoax by Democrats and said that all of this attention this week has been the Democrats trying to not focus on the government shutdown, which he says that they lost very badly in, or their policies. He said that the party is in disarray at this point. But this would be notable if the president is actually directing the Justice Department to launch an investigation.
This comes as email excerpts were released from the House Oversight Committee that reference President Trump at Epstein's house. Other national stories KSL is following. The Trump administration has officially withdrawn a proposed rule made by the Biden administration to force airlines to provide compensation, meals, lodging, and other expenses for passengers facing significant delays.
The Department of Transportation says it is withdrawing a Biden-era plan that would have required airlines to compensate passengers and cover expenses if the passengers are significantly delayed due to something in the airline's control. The department saying not requiring airlines to compensate for long delays allows airlines to compete on compensation and that it would have been a burdensome new rule. The airline industry is celebrating the move. The change does not impact current rules in which passengers are entitled to compensation for canceled flights. Alex Stone, EBC News.
Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow down by 130 points. That's an improvement from earlier in the day. It's at 47,326. It's about a 0.25% decline. S&P 500, it's up by 30 points, about 0.5%, and the NASDAQ up by 154 points. Traffic and weather is sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Here's Ricky Meese.
Very quiet drive on the Valley freeways. No accidents, no delays. But in Salt Lake, we do have a crash blocking lanes of travel. This is going to be very near the I-80 freeway. It's southbound on State Street at about 2100 South, and you will see right lanes blocked to traffic. Put your energy into the fight song, not fighting for parking. You win when you take UTA to the game. Plan your trip at rideuta.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
About a 30% chance of showers across the Wasatch Front today with a high of 69. Tomorrow, 65, but that chance of showers pretty much goes away, disappears, and then it reappears on Sunday, 60% chance, and the high down into the 50s. Right now, 68 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
The holidays are just around the corner, and Western Nut Company is here to make your gifting a breeze. From our beautiful gift baskets and nut boxes to our famous in-house fudge and brittle, we've got treats for every taste bud, crafted with the highest quality ingredients. Corporate gifting, that's our specialty. Just send us your list and we'll handle the rest. Beautifully packed, shipped with care, and guaranteed to impress. Calling all office managers or executive assistants. Call Western Nut now and let us make your holidays a little less nuts. But we actually do want you to eat more nuts. For 60 years, Western Nut has been a proud Utah tradition. Stop by our downtown shop for unique gifts, glittering ornaments, festive decor, and so much more. Western Nut Company, more than just the best gifts in Utah. We're a holiday tradition, in-store or online at westernut.com, where quality meets tradition, and every gift is packed with love.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos.
KSL Flight Tracker.
People looking to travel for Thanksgiving will be encouraged to hear the nation's airports are starting to get back to normal now that the government shutdown is over. KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson is live in studio with an update on how we are doing in Salt Lake. And Heather, what are you hearing today? Are things looking better yet?
Maria, I spoke with Salt Lake City International Airport's Director of Operations, Trevor Anderson, today. He says they're optimistic that holiday travel is going to go smoothly here.
Things are looking more back to normal, though I think, even with some of the cancellations we had during the week, they knew before they got to the airport, so there wasn't any mass chaos or anything, but it's just, a positive vibe as, people are getting ready to get to the holiday here in a week and a half, and so things are looking good, and lines are moving great. We see planes moving, and I think there's just a more of a feeling in the air of returning to normalcy.
Anderson says their number of cancellations peaked on Monday at 44, and now they're still seeing a few, but that number's gone way down. As of noon, only 12 cancellations were planned at Salt Lake City's airport today and 6 tomorrow.
So one of the reasons we saw flight reductions across the country was because of the number of air traffic controllers who were calling out sick while they weren't being paid during the shutdown. So what is the status of that in Utah?
Anderson told me that actually wasn't really a problem here.
So here locally in Salt Lake, we never really saw any staffing issues per se, and there's reports that are available that, we can look at, and we never saw any specific staffing issues here in Salt Lake. I think we were very fortunate, both for the FAA and TSA. We didn't get any indication that there were specific staffing issues here, so very fortunate for us. I think overall with those flight reductions that were kind of across the board, for the 40 busiest airports. Some fell in that category where there were some staffing issues, but here in Salt Lake, I think we were very fortunate. We just didn't see the same impacts that other areas of the country saw.
U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy had said that flight reductions would remain at 6% and instead of rising to 10% by the end of the week as originally planned. He hasn't said yet when those flight reductions mandates will be called off, but we're hearing across the country that it's going to take some time for things to get back to normal. So for now, the order stands. Air traffic controllers missed 2 paychecks during the shutdown, and Anderson says he's hearing that it's going to take anywhere from 2 to 7 days for those controllers to get their back pay.
All right, thank you. Sounds like there will still be some challenges. Hopefully they can figure that out before Thanksgiving. KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson joining me live in studio. Today, there's news of the potential of more massive layoffs in the private sector because of the government shutdown. News Nation's Alicia Neves has more.
We're getting word that another company is announcing these mass corporate layoffs. Reuters reporting that Verizon now looking to have its largest layoff ever reported, looking to cut about 15,000 jobs. Verizon told News Nation they have no official comment on that report, but if confirmed, Verizon would join Amazon and UPS, both of which announced these massive job losses and layoffs over the last couple of months or last month or so. All of this hitting as the White House now estimates that 60,000 private sector jobs were permanently lost during the government shutdown, a result of lost revenue and economic output. You have now even Kevin Hassett, the National Economic Council chair, saying that he expects GDP, our gross domestic product, how we measure our economy, that to come in 1.5% lower this quarter because of that government closure. And he's now revising the administration's messaging about the October economic data, saying now that some of that data might be recoverable.
The September jobs report has already been cooked, and we expect we might get that next week. It's just hadn't been released. The October employment report for the payroll side will be able to be calculated, but the household survey wasn't completed, so we'll get sort of half a jobs report. Most everything else, I think, we'll be able to concoct the correct number after we look back. But we will never know what the unemployment rate was in October because there wasn't a household survey.
So as a result of all of this confusion, markets yesterday just tumbled. The Dow lower by at least 1.5%, NASDAQ 2.33%.
Alicia says yesterday markets were reacting to fears that the lack of a full economic picture could mean the Fed can't make an interest rate cut next month. Today, President Trump is calling on the Justice Department to investigate Jeffrey Epstein's involvement and relationship with several high-profile Democrats and business leaders, including former President Bill Clinton. This comes as email excerpts were released from the House Oversight Committee showing the president's name mentioned by Epstein. The email excerpts have come from the Epstein estate, but the Justice Department also has tens of thousands of documents on the Epstein case that haven't been released in their entirety. ABC's Karen Travers and Catherine Falders have more.
The president says he is directing the Attorney General Pam Bondi, the Justice Department, and the FBI to investigate a list of people. He says Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, J.P. Morgan, and others to see their ties to Jeffrey Epstein. And he says that the investigation at this point, or this whole issue related to him, is just a hoax. We're calling it back to the Russia investigation into him in that first term. He says, quote, all arrows pointing to the Democrats. Certainly the president is trying to shine the spotlight away from him and the messages now that have had his name in it and any connection that he has to Jeffrey Epstein, and put it on Democrats, high-profile Democrats. He has also said that Democrats have been doing this week, releasing those emails earlier and pushing for more transparency and the full release of the Epstein files in order to distract from what's actually happening in Washington. He says it's to distract from the government shutdown and the fact that they did not get any of their demands on health care when they were shutting down the government for the last couple of weeks. So again, the president trying to now call on the Justice Department to launch this investigation. We've seen him do this before. Now we have to see what the Justice Department will actually do with this demand from the president.
So, Catherine, what's in these files related to President Trump, and what Democrats are named in these files?
Well, I think there's a lot going on here. I think we can't really answer that question with certainty as to what Democrats are named in the files in question that Trump is talking about. Obviously, this is all a reaction to what the House Oversight Committee released, those documents from the Epstein estate. But the point is, he's asking his Justice Department and FBI to investigate. Well, remember, they have a treasure trove of documents that they're sitting on that they haven't yet publicly released. So what exactly is the nature of that investigation? What does that mean? I know that when Todd Blanche, the Deputy Attorney General, sat with Ghislaine Maxwell, down in Florida a few months back, I believe in July, he asked about specific Democrats, and Maxwell didn't have any particular recollection over some of those questions that Blanche probed her on. So the nature of the investigation, what Trump wants DOJ exactly to investigate, is pretty much entirely unclear, other than what Karen just laid out specifically in his post. Reid Hoffman, Bill Clinton, Larry Summers. I know that Blanche asked Maxwell about Clinton specifically and Hoffman. What else does the president want here? It's very clear that he just wants this probed to distract from himself being in the files, whether there's any criminal liability or not, and turn the tables and shift this over to Democrats.
And Karen, President Trump is criticizing Republicans who say they will vote to force the Justice Department to release its files on Epstein. Why?
So first you start with the 4 that voted for the discharge petition this week. And there was a pressure campaign to get some of them to switch their vote and not be in favor of that. But now next week that will go forward. And the expectation is the House will vote on that to compel the Justice Department to release the Epstein files. And it looks like you could have dozens of House Republicans voting in favor of it, maybe 40 to 50 lawmakers. The president, though, is already criticizing Republicans who have been pushing for this, saying they are weak. He says they have fallen into the clutches of Democrats because they are soft and foolish. And now the big question is, if this likely passes the House, what happens in the Senate? That is much more unclear. And if it were to get across the finish line in the Senate, it is unlikely, of course, that the president would sign it.
That is ABC's Karen Travers and Catherine Falders there. Stay with us. We'll be back with more in just 60 seconds.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like rugs. People say a rug would really bring the room together. And sure, you don't know what that means, but it sounds important. Suddenly you're using words like jute and sisal. Then you see the price and lose it, because how can the thing you walk and spill on cost so much? So you devote your life to taking down Big Rug. But then you remember that switching your home and auto to Progressive could save you hundreds. So, looks like Big Rug is safe. For now. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
The first lab-confirmed case of measles has come to Salt Lake County. Gabriel Marino with the Salt Lake County Health Department says the case comes from an unvaccinated adult who doesn't know how they were exposed. Marino says they do know the patient was at the Taylorsville Instacare near 39th West and 47th South on Friday, November 7th, between 3 and 7:15 in the evening.
And we want to make a note of that because we know that measles can linger up in the air for up to 2 hours. So anyone there during that time frame may have been exposed even without direct contact to this individual. So what people should do is that if you were at that location, check your vaccination records right away. You can do that by going on the mobile app called Docket, or you can come physically to any of our clinics throughout the valley and we can look up those records for you. But if you develop symptoms, fever, cough, runny nose, red eyes, or rash, make sure to stay home and call your healthcare provider before going in to make sure that they make the adequate arrangements to see you in person.
Marino says for those who have received the MMR vaccine, it's important that you received both doses.
2 doses of the MMR vaccine provide excellent protection, more than 97%. If you're not sure whether you've received both doses, it's totally safe to get another one. And in terms of risk, the risk overall is very low for anyone who's fully vaccinated. But unvaccinated individuals, including children too young to be vaccinated, are more likely to have serious complications.
You can get more information on preventing measles as well as the latest measles numbers in the state by visiting epi.utah.gov. A new multi-state task force to make sure artificial intelligence gets appropriate oversight and regulation from lawmakers. We'll hear from Attorney General Derek Brown about this initiative after the break. But first, it's KSL Traffic. It's sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Ricky?
For those in the Salt Lake City area, we do have an accident blocking a right lane State Street about 2300, 2400 south. It's being reported on the southbound side, but we're seeing some backups in multiple directions. And then in Weber County, a crash southbound Washington Boulevard at 22nd Street over to the right. While you're planning your day, plan for comfort too with the Good Feet store. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Utah can count on.
If you're getting new gutters, make absolutely sure that you don't get screwed. I mean literally, don't get screwed. Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. And every single gutter company out there uses screws to hold their gutters together at the corners and downspouts. They use screws because they're fast and cheap and easy, but man, they're terrible for your gutters, aside from possibly cutting your hand. They also loosen and corrode over time because they're not made from the same metal as the gutters. At RGS Exteriors, we've been installing gutters for 70 years now, and we don't use screws. We only use permanent, strong, and unobtrusive rivets. They're made from the same material as the gutters, so they won't oxidize and they won't corrode. They'll also never loosen. Your hand is safe too. Did I mention they look amazing? So don't get screwed. Call RGS and get riveted gutters. Our number is 801-280-3110 or visit us at rgsutah.com. That's 801-280-3110 or rgsutah.com.
Utah Mammoth Hockey is back at Delta Center. Don't miss your chance to be part of the excitement as the Mammoth hit the ice all season long. Grab your friends, rally the family, and lock in your seats for the fast-paced, hard-hitting action. Great seats are available for most games, but they're selling fast. Head to UtahMammoth.com to get your tickets today. That's UtahMammoth.com. Your home for all things Mammoth hockey.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. As artificial intelligence continues to establish dominance as a tool in just about every sector, lawmakers are focused on making sure it doesn't go unchecked. Utah is joining North Carolina's Attorney General Jeff Jackson to create a task force that will focus on AI policy.
AI is one of the most concerning issues, and it really transcends party politics. And so we've been working with Jeff Jackson, who's the new Attorney General in North Carolina, to create a task force that will collaborate with industry to identify what we need to do moving forward to both harness the power of AI, but also ensure that people are protected from the abuses of AI.
Utah maintains a commitment to stay on the cutting edge of technology and has done so for years, as evidenced by the area known as Silicon Slopes. Brown will use not only the power of state law, but a relationship with companies behind AI to ensure that they have an understanding of its potential as well as its dangers.
And I mean, to be quite frank, one of the concerns companies have, and particularly those in AI, is knowing what the guardrails are. And they've come to us and they've said, look, we want to do what's right. We want to protect kids. We want to protect people. And to do that, we need to know what the guardrails are from a legal standpoint. And so that's where the AGs come together, is we can sit down with them, figure out what those guardrails are, and then work with them so there aren't, the sort of the moving goalposts, as they tend to say.
Although the task force is still in its very early stages, AG Brown made it clear they have an actionable plan for the future.
The next steps is we'll be meeting with companies specifically to elicit information about some of the concerns that they're expressing as they go through this, and some of the problems that we're seeing. And the idea is a couple of things. First of all, what we want to do is we want to make sure that the attorneys general are aware of what's going on. So first of all, it's education. We want them and as well law enforcement officers to understand the opportunities and the challenges. AI will revolutionize so much of what we do in the law enforcement space. And I mean, we're looking at ways currently that we can use it to be far more efficient in terms of investigating cases that we bring. But there are challenges with that. And so we want to identify, like, how do we utilize AI in a way that is safe, that it's responsible, and that it's ethical.
A.G. Brown says AI can be used as a valuable tool for efficiency, but you should always know the risks. Meanwhile, Utah schools are reporting how they use AI in the classroom for the first time. It's part of the Utah Education Network's biannual technology inventory that looks at how the landscape of technology is changing over time at the state's public and charter schools. Mike McIntosh, Associate Director at the Utah Education Network, told KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson that even since their last survey in 2023, things have changed a lot.
Since this happens every other year, this is the first year that AI-based questions are going to be a part of this inventory process, and that just shows how fast AI has evolved in our mental states, where it wasn't really a question 2 years ago, and now it's, I think, the top question that everybody has: how is AI going to impact this sector, or education, or private sector, or higher ed? And so this year, they're really looking at, they've added a handful of AI questions to try to understand where AI is currently being used in schools, what training and resources or policies are needed, or what schools have some in place already, and then basically how Utah can responsibly prepare students for that possible AI-driven future.
McIntosh says they hope for 100% reporting from Utah's K-12 schools. They use the data to understand how many devices are used, how they are used, and what the funding needs may be in the future so that they can keep up.
A lot of it is just to understand how funding and how that basically boils down to with equipment. Like, what's interesting with this is there's about 1 million computing devices across the state of Utah. And when you start to break down those numbers and you see that there's, almost 900,000 of those devices are for student use in the educational setting, and then you break it down even more and say, okay, but about 600,000 of those devices are Google Chromebooks. So it really lets you start to see which districts, and the reporting will break it out by district and by school, which districts are using which technology, and then you can follow up with how that technology is being used, what the feedback is from those different LEAs and how they're using it, whether they're a full Google district that uses Chromebooks, or they're a Windows district that uses only Windows devices. So it's a lot of interesting information that's captured, and it lets district IT leaders, superintendents, school boards, all the way up to policymakers look at how things are funded and who's getting the best bang for their buck with technology.
Some of the interesting facts they captured in the last report were that while the amount of devices per student is going up, those devices are also getting older. A quarter of school laptops or tablets were upwards of 4 years old. We'll have to wait and see if this is still the case for the 2025 report. UEN is surveying schools about this until next week, and the full report will be released early next year. It's 1:30 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. One Utah High School choir is taking the show on the road. We'll hear from the West High School Choir as they prepare to head to Carnegie Hall in New York City. And KSL traffic, Ricky.
A right lane blocked with a crash, and this is State Street at 2300 South. Maria?
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. In Oakland, California, police say legendary former football coach John Beam died Friday morning after being shot on Laney College campus yesterday. Police say they have a suspect in custody. A powerful storm bringing heavy rain to the West Coast and triggering evacuations in Southern California, where there's a risk of flooding and mudslides in burn-scarred communities. ABC's Melissa Adon is in Los Angeles.
For those residents that are specifically in burn-scarred communities, there are evacuation warnings in place. So already city and county officials from here in Los Angeles County, over in Ventura County as well, have put out those evacuation warnings for folks to get out, if possible, ahead before anything gets worse.
After President Trump posted on social media asking the Justice Department to investigate Jeffrey Epstein's involvement and relationship with Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, and other Democrats, Attorney General Pam Bondi says she's assigned a prosecutor to take the lead. Stocks making some ground after yesterday's sell-off. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story, the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints has a new presiding bishopric. Bishop C. Christopher Waddell has been called on to serve on the three-man council by President Dallin H. Oaks. This comes after the former bishop, Gerald Kaze, was called to fill the vacancy in the Quorum of the 12 Apostles last week. Now, the presiding bishopric manages things like humanitarian aid, welfare programs, tithing, and fast offerings for the church. KSL Sports, the TCU Horned Frogs will travel to Lavelle Edwards Stadium tomorrow to play the BYU Cougars. Alex Curie is the co-host of KSL Sports Zone's JJ and Alex and says the Cougs can only afford one loss, and that happened last week against Texas Tech.
It ended up being one that was so bad for them, I think, from the perspective of the College Football Playoff Committee, that they fell 5 spots in the rankings, which was a lot. It felt like it was even more than it should have been, even with the final score of what it was. But last year, when they won, or when they were 9-0, they lost their first game of the year against Kansas, and then they followed that up the next week with another loss. You can't afford that. You can't have these 2 losses in a row thing. You can't do the pouting deal. You got to just jump right back in, and they got to win. That's it. Just win the rest of them.
The game kicks off at 8:15. You can listen to it here on KSL News Radio. San Diego Padres owner is looking at possibly selling the franchise. Utah wants a Major League Baseball team. Could they end up moving here? Utah State Representative Ryan Wilcox is on the honorary advisory board for Big League Utah, the group that's trying to bring an MLB team here.
We are intentionally running to that position of being the preeminent natural choice, whether it's for relocation or whether it's for expansion, believing that our most likely opportunity will be expansion.
Wilcox says he doesn't realistically see San Diego parting with the Padres, but they would be willing to take them if the opportunity arose. But he says they are ready to take a team anytime if the league gives us one. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is down by 279 points, about 0.5%, sitting at 47,178. S&P is up by 7 points. The NASDAQ is up by 66 points. Traffic and weather together is sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Here's Ricky Meese.
We still have a right lane blocked with a crash, and this is State Street at about 2300 South. If you're in Weber County, watch for an accident to the right, southbound Washington Boulevard at 22nd Street. If you're on any of the Valley freeways, a little bit of busy traffic northbound I-15 near 1300 South. From system install to fast fixes to delivering award-winning heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical. Call Whipple Service Champions for the win today. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Nice and warm today, but still a 30% chance of showers. Tomorrow, that chance of showers is gone with a high of 65. Sunday, the chance returns with a 60% chance and the high dropping down into the mid-50s. 68 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Mr. Mac, suiting for every important chapter of your life. Weddings, proms, new job, any celebration, mission callings, and more. Mr. Mac's there to suit your needs with 9 locations or MrMac.com.
My friend Joey means well.
Always remember that the early bird gathers no moss.
But he gets a little confused.
You know, you can't make a silk purse out of a wooden nickel.
Like Joey, many of us can be confused when it comes time to plan for retirement. When to take Social Security, how to use that 401k, what about the stock market, taxes, and Medicare? Todd Kim at Galileo Wealth Management can help to simplify retirement planning. His goal is to have you walk into retirement with confidence, not worry, and to address the number one concern among retirees today, the fear of running out of money. Call Galileo Wealth today for a no-cost, no-obligation meeting to talk about the details of your retirement. 385-247-7000. It's 385-247-7000 or online, GalileoWealth.com. And remember,
one man's trash is thicker than water. Of course, water's not thick at all. It's watery.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Help elevate your company's pride with workplace tips from Cintas. The right workwear helps your team look and perform their best. Cintas has work apparel for almost any job imaginable. Your team gets garments that are breathable, comfortable, and hold up to any job. Cintas even handles laundry and delivery every week with no upfront investment. It's all part of Apparel Plus from Cintas. Learn more at Cintas.com.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. From the crossroads of the West to the Big Apple, one of Utah's high school choirs is taking their talents to New York City's Carnegie Hall. The West High School Choir received this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to perform at the renowned music hall this spring. Their director says it's a massive accomplishment and a proud moment for the community as a whole. The choir came to KSL Broadcast House this morning to talk about the experience and what it means to get this invitation. Before we get to that, though, you have to take a listen to them.
Oh, what a beautiful city. Oh, what a beautiful city. Oh, what a beautiful city. 12 gates to the city. Hallelujah. Oh, what a beautiful city. Oh, what a beautiful city. Oh, what a beautiful city. 12 gates to the city. Hallelujah. 3 gates in of the east, 3 gates in of the west, 3 gates in of the north, 3 gates in of the south, 12 gates to the city. Hallelujah.
All right, you have to admit they sound wonderful. Their director, Andrea Hernandez, tells me she feels overwhelmed with excitement and gratitude for this adventure.
It's one of those achievements that you realize, is this actually happening? And we feel so excited, but in the meantime, it's a little bit of imposter syndrome for me, where I think, are we going to be able to get there?
How did this happen?
2 years ago, we entered ourselves into a competition in California, and we placed in the gold ranking, which is the highest ranking that we could at that festival, which allowed us to perform at larger stages worldwide. And we applied then to the Carnegie Hall venue, and we were accepted. And now it's just a journey to get us there.
So tell us about your group and what it's taken to get you here.
So I like to start from when I first started working there, which was 5 years ago, and I actually started right in the middle of the pandemic at West High School. And it was, to say the least, a really difficult time in all performing arts, where many students were not engaged because it's a very difficult platform, a very difficult place to do music or anything performing arts related online. And it took a good year to 2 years to rebuild the program and to get students generated and interested in singing and then choral singing.
So what kind of practice, what have you been doing to get prepared for this?
Well, a lot of the practice comes from in-class rehearsals, and then I also call them early mornings. We have many different performances throughout the school year, as well as performances around the community. And one thing that this specific group behind me is special for is that we reinstated chorale, which is the top choir at West High School. It had been a long-standing tradition since about 1955, and then it came back just last year. And with the reinstitution of with chorale, which is 16 members, we were able to go to region and place straight superior ones, which led us to state, where we also received straight superior ones our first year back. So,
such a rare experience. Describe what this means for the students.
So our student population is very diverse at West High School. We are right downtown, and we have over 70 foreign languages spoken at our school. And our students come from every walk of life, and many of them may never have an opportunity like this again. And this is a chance for us to go as a team, as friends, as musicians, and I think it's safe to say we all will, it's an unforgettable experience.
Talk about the team for a minute and why that's so important.
The team, and I love to use this word because choirs are teams. It takes every voice part, it takes every person giving their all to make this group effort happen. This specific group is pushing me as a director. They all have such a drive to want to learn more. They're very hungry. They're hungry students for knowledge and to become their most excellent and very best selves. And as a teacher, I have to consistently pivot and give them more. And that speaks greatly to their talent, to their hardworking, their aptitude. And I'm just really grateful to be their teacher and provide that for them.
And that's quite a challenge for you as well to continue to pivot, right?
Yeah. I mean, they keep me guessing every day, whether it's 6, 7 or the next thing. So I think that overall, I really find the enjoyment in my job every day. I'm lucky to be a director that gets to go to school every day, excited for what's next. What now do we get to learn and explore?
Okay, so as you were thinking about this in your head and planning everything, I mean, what are you most looking forward to?
I think the Carnegie experience itself. We've also been selected specifically as the featured choir. So how the Carnegie Hall works is multiple choirs come from all over the nation to create a large choir, and they then select one specific choir to be featured and perform 3 specific pieces on our own. And to be able to be a conductor, in that space is something I think I never thought of for this job, for this career, for any of that, and it's such a dream come true.
Okay, so what does it take before you actually take the trip? I mean, are you fundraising? What needs to happen here?
Okay, got you. So we actually are on our journey there, and we need money. It comes down to the fact that trips like this cost money. We have already earned a good amount of money, and we've sought out multiple sponsors throughout our community and had great contributions, but we still need more to get there. A trip like this, as you can imagine, is hundreds of thousands of dollars to get all these students on planes across the country to New York City, and the expenses there are also more than I think that we expected, but we really are working our hardest every day to fundraise and reaching out to local companies, local communities, members to contribute towards our cause.
She says the story of the choir is one of perseverance, teamwork, and the power of music to bring people together. In just 60 seconds, we'll hear from a few of the choir members to find out how they feel about this opportunity. Stay with us.
As the temperature sinks a little lower and the wind blows a little harder, next thing you know, the winter cold is going to be seeping in through your old drafty windows. So now's the time to call Advanced Window Products for custom-crafted, state-of-the-art windows that'll seal up your house and cut your heating bill. Get on their schedule before winter, and not only do you get factory direct pricing far below what the big-name companies charged, but Advanced will knock an extra $2,500 off your quote. They'll create beautiful double-pane windows with insulated frames, any style, any color, and the security features to keep your family safe. You'll get a lifetime warranty from a local company in business here for 39 years. Financing? 60 months, 0%. Or even buy now, pay later. So make the call. Seal up the house for winter with $2,500 off on 10 windows or more. Call for a quote, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or go to advancedwindows.com.
We are continuing to talk about this amazing experience for students in the West High School Choir, an invitation to perform at Carnegie Hall in New York City. Before the break, we heard about the opportunity from their director, Andrea Hernandez, but how do the students themselves feel about it? While they were visiting us here at KSL Broadcast House, I spoke with a few of them. Emma Mitchell is one of those students.
Well, I've been in West High Choir since I was in 8th grade, and I've been working with Miss Hernandez for the whole time. And I never thought I would be going to Carnegie Hall to sing with the choir. I have been working really hard, and it just means so much that I can go with my friends and my teammates to perform at one of the biggest venues in the world.
Okay, when you say working hard, describe what that means.
Well, I started in chorus in 8th grade, and I've been going to a cappella, which is the next highest level, and then finally chorale. I've been taking private vocal lessons, and I've just been trying to do everything that I can to improve my vocal singing. And around my community, I've been trying to help people through singing, so it's been a great experience. And
how do you help people through singing?
I went to the Ronald McDonald House to sing, and it was a really good experience. There was a lot of kids who were able to have a nice uplifting moment through hard times, and just similar thing with assisted living places and stuff like that. So
when you tell your friends about this, how do you describe this? What do you say?
About Carnegie Hall? Or,
yeah.
Oh, I say, we're going to Carnegie Hall, or we're going to New York, and I'm going with my friends, and we have to prepare a lot, we have to fundraise, but we'll get there, and it'll be an unforgettable experience.
What are you looking forward to most?
Just spending time with my friends, my teammates, being able to perform in Carnegie Hall. I think that will be a great experience. And overall, just getting to experience a new place in the world and getting to sing, do something that I love in those places.
Another student in the choir, Cameron Park, I asked him why this experience is so special for him.
So I'm a senior at West High right now, and for me this really does feel like a little bit of a capstone to my experience with West High choirs. I'm really, really grateful to share it with a lot of these people because I've known them for years and years and years. A lot of them since even before like high school. And so I'm really very grateful to be able to go on this trip with all these people. But beyond that, it's also a really good opportunity musically, right? To be able to say I got to perform at Carnegie Hall is kind of awesome. So yeah, I'm really excited.
So how do you hope that will help you in the future? Do you have a future in singing?
Yeah, so what I want to do in the future is probably write plays, musicals, and continue performing in like theater arts, as well as cultivate my own singing for those things. And this Carnegie Hall trip is a really great experience just to see a little bit what it's like in New York, as well as like what it's going to be like performing on some of these bigger stages and what the expectations are, as well as the level of like excellence we need to reach as a choir to get to these places. So really it is like it's a really great experience to be there, but a lot of the actual value of the experience is in like working towards getting there, right? Like all the practice we're putting in as a choir and developing the program, because as Ms. Hernandez said, this is only our second year with chorale, having it back. And so it's a really, really great experience to be able to build this community.
So how do you describe this to your friends?
Overwhelming is a great word. I would say maybe exhilarating a little bit, right? Like I get to tell people that I'm gonna go perform at Carnegie Hall with just like all of my friends, and we're gonna have this awesome New York trip. But a little bit more than that. Like it's really special to have like such wonderful educators that are able to like bring us into these spaces, right? And so for me, like this experience is really, really special, and I do tell people a lot, like this is such a great experience. But even more than that, like it's really, really rewarding as somebody who's done the choir for so long to be able to say that our group is going to Carnegie, right? Like it's a little bit, we put the work in, we've been putting the work in, and now we've made it.
The choir will head to Carnegie Hall in the spring. In the meantime, they need your help to get them there. To learn more about this opportunity and to see how you can help with donations, you can check out our website later today, kslnewsradio.com. Let's stick with the arts and chat about a musical on the suffragette movement that's making a big impact here in Utah right now. That's coming up next. But first, it's KSL Traffic. It's sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Ricky?
A small accident in Draper, southbound I-15, about 114th South. It's already out of traffic, so no delay. And then in Davis County, a crash, southbound Legacy Parkway, about 1900 South and Woods Cross, moved over to the shoulder and again out of traffic. The Salt Lake Family Christmas Gift Show, November 13th through 15th at the Mountain America Expo Center. Shop more than 400 booths in apparel, jewelry, and more. Tickets online at familychristmasgiftshow.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Every child deserves to feel safe, seen, heard, and loved. The Children's Center Utah helps make that possible. For more than 60 years, their expert team has provided life-changing mental health care for young children and their families. This care plays a crucial role when a child's development matters most, providing early intervention and the tools they need to thrive before a family faces significant crisis and expense. Addressing crucial mental, behavioral, and emotional concerns now. Today, the Children's Center Utah is expanding, bringing hope and healing to even more communities across Utah. This outreach will ensure greater access for more Utah children and their families. You'll hear more about it in the days and weeks ahead. In the meantime, if a child in your life needs support, the Children's Center Utah is here to help. Visit childrencenterutah.org to learn, give, or get involved. The Children's Center Utah, where hope and healing happen.
Oh, hey, welcome to gift wrapping. Whoa, Zoe Saldana.
Hey, can you wrap these, please?
Wow, iPhone 17s. You splurged.
At T-Mobile, you can get 4 iPhone 17s on them. It's the perfect gift for everyone.
I'm the worst. I only got my mom a robe.
Well, it's better than socks.
So I have to trade in my old phone, right?
No, at T-Mobile, there's no trade-ins needed when you switch. Keep your old phone or give it as a gift.
Incredible.
In fact, wrap up my old phone, too. For my Aunt Rosa. Forget that. Aunt Liz will be jealous.
Sounds like my family. Drama.
Oh, I got it. I'll give it to my abuela. I'll take reindeer paper with, hey, where are you going?
To T-Mobile. Thanks, Zoe.
The holidays are better at T-Mobile. Get 4 iPhone 17s on us. No trade-in needed when you switch. Plus 4 lines for just $25 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 4 eligible port-ins on essentials for well-qualified customers. Auto pay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end in balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 256 gigabytes, $830 required. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Hard to believe, but Black Friday's here, and you know what that means. It's time for Black Friday money deals at UCCU.
There is an annual tradition now for Black Friday at UCCU where people look forward to. Because unlike other Black Friday sales, Black Friday at UCCU is your chance to actually improve your finances.
Like a home equity loan with extra 0.25% off the intro rate, auto and RV loans with no payment for 90 days, low-rate credit cards with 0% interest for 6 months, and $150 cash just for signing up for direct deposit.
It's so easy, and that's just the beginning of Black Friday money deals. Keep going to uccu.com every week for new premium deals that will unlock, and they're things like cutting your auto loan rate in half to earning a higher interest rate on your savings. Enter each week for a chance to win these awesome prizes.
But you got to visit uccu.com every week. But if you come back and enter every time a new deal unlocks, you can win them all. So don't just enter once. Go every week, unlock every deal, and win big this Black Friday at UCCU.
UCCU, you're going to love where you bank.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
More than 50 million Americans suffer from a form of mental illness.
And Utah isn't immune, with nearly 1 in 3 people dealing with anxiety, depression, or another form of mental illness.
But there's hope. We can all take action to keep ourselves and our loved ones safe.
That's why KSL has teamed with the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation to bring you hope and help you thrive.
It's Healthy Mind Matters.
Find out more at healthymindmatters.com.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. The Broadway musical Suffs is visiting Salt Lake City. The musical focuses on the struggle for women's rights and the suffragettes that paved the way for the 19th Amendment, which allows women to vote in America. One big fan of this story of women in government is one of Utah's women in government, Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson. She joined Inside Sources this morning.
Yesterday morning, I had the privilege of meeting with two of the main characters, the actresses who played Alice Paul and Inez Milholland, with some Better Days 2020 folks at the Women's Suffrage Memorial across the street from the Capitol, right in front of the building where that very first woman, Sarah Young, cast her ballot, the first woman in America to cast a ballot under an equal suffrage law. So it was really meaningful to be there with these actors who played the roles of these women in this musical and talk to them about how both Alice Paul and Inez Milholland came to Utah, how Utah women were so instrumental in helping the women of the rest of the country secure their right to vote, that 19th Amendment. Of course, Utah women already were voting for 20-plus years, 24 years by the time the 19th Amendment was passed, but it was meaningful to the people of Utah to help secure those rights for other women. And it was really a privilege for me to share those stories with those actors.
The Lieutenant Governor says that this show is not only great in music, but great in its importance.
It's a story of the long, hard-fought fight to get the right to vote, the 19th Amendment enshrined in our Constitution in the early 1900s. And it was a fight that was like 60, 70-year decades in the making. It took so long for women to be able to really fight to get this right. And we don't hear much about this story. And so this musical, it's a true story. It's got true people in it, people who lived and fought. It uses their own words. The music is breathtaking. It's inspiring. It's funny. I think it means something to everyone who goes, and not just women, men too. Both women and men fought for and against women's suffrage.
You can see the show right now at the Eccles Theater in Salt Lake City. Online groceries, it's not your normal food fight, but competition is rising. With more, here's Mike Dubusky with Tech Trends.
Amazon has recently been making moves into the world of online grocery shopping, now offering same-day delivery on perishable items to Prime customers. The announcement puts more pressure on services like Uber Eats and, increasingly, Instacart.
So when most people think about Instacart, they think about the ability to place an order online for groceries and have it delivered to their home the same day.
Sarah Fleisch, Instacart's Senior Director of Policy Research, says the company partners with large and small grocery chains, as opposed to Amazon, which draws from its own Amazon Fresh stores. That means, according to Fleisch, grocery stores have added nearly 240,000 jobs since Instacart's founding in 2012.
Because of the increase in demand, the increase in orders from online shopping, these retailers are increasing their revenue and they're increasing the number of people that they need in their stores to fill those orders.
With Tech Trends, I'm Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
Stay with us, more Midday in just a few moments.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Football Friday on KSL News Radio. One game many Cougar fans are watching is tomorrow's BYU game against Texas Christian University.
It's a typical TCU offense. I mean, they have speed, they have talent on the outside. The running backs have been productive, so a lot of good, a lot of things that we're going to have to gear up for to stop, obviously.
The time is 2 o'clock on Friday, November 14th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, many of Utah's universities have football games this weekend. We'll get a preview of them from sports. Plus, this hour,
when we ask people what are the biggest issues facing families today, by far the number one issue that people chose was the cost of raising a family.
As costs rise across the board, families appear to be getting smaller. Insights on the correlation between the two coming up shortly. But first, our top stories. We do have breaking news. An 11-year-old had to be taken to the hospital this morning after they were hit by a school bus in Hurricane. City says witnesses saw the student run across the roadway near 7th West and 1000 South. They were then hit by a Washington County School District bus, which had students on board at the time. The student was taken to the hospital with a possible head injury. Salt Lake County health officials say they have confirmed a case of measles in the area. Health Department spokesman Gabriel Marino says the patient is an unvaccinated adult who was at the Taylorsville Instacare near 39th West and 47th South last Friday between 3 and 7:15 p.m.
We know that measles can linger up in the air for up to 2 hours. So anyone there during that time frame may have been exposed even without direct contact to this individual.
We have a full report coming up on Jeff Kaplan's afternoon news. KSL's top local story. More email excerpts from Jeffrey Epstein's estate released by the House Oversight Committee. They show more mentions of President Trump.
Shortly after he launched his presidential campaign in 2015, Epstein told at least one reporter that he had dirt on Trump and was willing to share. Writing, quote, "Ask my houseman about Donald almost walking through the door, leaving his nose print on the glass as young women were swimming in the pool, and he was so focused he walked straight into the door." Epstein then posing the question, "Would you like photos of Donald and girls in bikinis in my kitchen?" In one 2018 text exchange, the context of which is unclear, Epstein wrote to an unidentified person about Trump, "I am the one able to take him down."
That is ABC's Mary Bruce. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow ending the day down by more than 300 points, sitting at 47,147. S&P down by 3 points. The NASDAQ, however, up by 30 points. Traffic and weather is sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Ricky?
A good drive on all the Valley freeways. Delay-free right now on I-15 both directions as you go from Willard Bay all the way to Santaquin. And the cleanup has been completed on the crash that we had Legacy Parkway in Woods Cross. Step aboard history. Walk through recreations, see real artifacts, and feel the legacy of Titanic, the exhibition. Open now at the Shops at Southtown in Sandy. Tickets at thetitanicexhibition.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
30% chance of showers across the Wasatch Front today. Tomorrow's high 65, and that chance of rain does go away, but back on Sunday, a 60% chance, and staying with us on Monday as well. The high Sunday and Monday, both in the mid-50s. Right now, 68 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Save $2,500 on a new furnace and air conditioner from Any Hour Services. For more information, call Any Hour Services or schedule a free estimate online at anyhourservices.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
Hey, Utah! Are you ready for the Utah Mammoth to hit the ice? From game-winning goals to behind-the-scenes moments, Mammoth Plus brings the action to you all season long. Whether you're at home, on the go, or in the stands, don't miss a single shift. Visit UtahMammothPlus.com and start streaming today. That's UtahMammothPlus.com. Every game, every goal, live on Mammoth Plus.
The perfect present doesn't always come wrapped under the tree. Treat your loved ones to an unforgettable afternoon or evening of music and laughter with the Utah Symphony at Abravanel Hall. With tickets to our holiday programs this December, you're not just giving a gift. You're sharing a heartfelt experience that will create cherished memories. Show them you care with the gift of music this season. Visit usuo.org/holiday to get your tickets.
Thanks for tuning in to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Guess what day it is? That's right, it's Football Friday. Joining me live on Midday to talk about all the games this weekend is KSL Sports' Alex Curie. Alex, thanks for spending a few minutes with me today.
Maria, always happy to join you.
So let's start with BYU versus TCU. What are we looking at here?
Yeah, this is a bounce-back game for the Cougars. Obviously, you can't afford to lose a second game because all the chat right now is they have to do everything they can to win these next few games to be able to get into the conference championship game. And it might not be enough just to get to the conference championship game. They have to either beat Texas Tech or they have to at least put it so far out of the realm of what was last week down in Lubbock to get people out of their minds that BYU is not, up to the task for the playoffs. So they have a ton in front of them still. 3 games, of course, and it starts this weekend against TCU, who's been a team that has been a thorn in BYU's historic, side. But the reality is that these are 2 very different teams from the Mountain West days, and TCU is kind of struggling this year with a really, really good offense. They've had a really hard time winning games, and they lost last week at Iowa State. They have a really good quarterback. Their best running back is out. BYU's favored at home, but they lost last year when they were supposed to win at home against the Kansas team that came in, and they were heavily favored over after they were undefeated. And so they can't afford a back-to-back loss for sure because that'll put them back in that same spot of crossing their fingers and hoping for that tie break, which you never want to do.
Okay, tell us about U of U versus Baylor.
So going down to Baylor, Baylor's a mess right now, Maria. It's kind of weird. There's a drama element to this where right now, Baylor cannot afford to be thinking about other things other than Utah, who's just been absolutely pounding the last few teams that they've played. And they're on a warpath because the reality is if they just keep winning the way that they are, they're going to be impressive enough to at least have, I think, a resume that the College Football Committee won't be able to ignore. And Baylor this week, their athletic director stepped aside because of some alleged back and forth, not just verbally, but even physically with a player, which you never hear of. That would be like Mark Harlan getting into it with a player on the sidelines, of the football team. It's just you don't have athletic directors getting into that. So he stepped away and was on a leave of absence. And the football coach is like one of his best buddies, and he's kind of on the hot seat. And so it's all this drama off of the field that they cannot afford. And I cannot imagine Utah going in there and not just absolutely obliterating Baylor. Baylor is just struggling right now. Yeah, it's the kind of storylines that they don't need. And Baylor, I think, is just going to get absolutely pummeled by the Utes, who are just rolling right now.
Okay, what about Utah State versus UNLV?
It's a big one. Bronco Mendenhall, his first year here, he's pretty close to being bowl eligible. They're having a really decent year. They've been up and down, but UNLV is a team that started off the season really strong. They were one of the favorites in the Mountain West. they have to go to Allegiant Stadium. It's a nice NFL venue to play in. It's indoors and all that, but he's a tough team. And but I suspect that Bronco and his guys from Utah State are going to have it together, and I think they're going to go down there and they're going to show Dan Mullen, who's the head coach of UNLV, how they do it there at Utah State. I'm hoping that the Aggies can pull this one off. I think that they will down there in Las Vegas.
Okay, what about Weber State versus Idaho State?
Yeah, this is a rough one because they just let go their head coach, Mickey Mental, last week, and so you've got an interim coach stepping in for the Wildcats. And, whenever that happens, Maria, there's always the thought of, well, we're just trying to get through this year. But I think that there are enough players on this team, and Idaho State's a tough out. Like, that is a really good football team in Big Sky play, and it's a rival, obviously, because it's up the road there in Pocatello. I just think that it's going to be a lot for Weber State to have to try to figure out, especially after they lost their coach last week after they let him go.
Okay, a lot of football drama this weekend. Thanks for being with me.
Oh, I love it. I love all of it, Maria. Yeah, it's great.
Thanks for being with me, Alex. That is Alex Curie. The BYU-TCU game kicks off tomorrow at 8:15. You can hear pregame coverage right here on KSL News Radio after the BYU basketball game wraps tomorrow night. KSL News Radio, your legacy home of the BYU Cougars. Stay with us. We'll be back with more in just 60 seconds.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com. Or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Is the American dream still attainable? New survey information paints a rather bleak picture of how most Americans feel about the cost of raising a family. I spoke to the Wheatley Institute's Allison Pond to get more details.
We definitely see that, across the spectrum, no matter how you cut this, people in all different demographic groups are saying that affordability is a really big issue. When we ask people what are the biggest issues facing families today, by far the number one issue that people chose was the cost of raising a family. And they also mention it when we ask people about having children and things that might limit the number of children that they're having. People mention the cost of raising a child as a prohibitive factor. So it's definitely something that's on people's minds.
What are some of the things that surround this? I mean, what sort of concerns should we have about this?
This is something else that stood out to me. When we asked people overall what their concerns are about the problems facing families, they say things like the cost of things, good jobs, economic things. When we ask them what are the biggest problems you're facing in your family, that's when they say things like mental and physical health struggles, their tension among the family, as well as these economic issues. But they mention more personal things too, and the two are really related. The economic stress shows up in families in the form of mental health issues, or being able to pay for health care, being able to it shows up in the tension among people as well. And so that's an important the way that we need to be thinking about supporting families, both economically and on these other levels too.
So I'm wondering if this is just a temporary thing because of all the inflation and the hard time people are having right now, whether you think that might be turned around if they weren't facing such struggles economically.
There's definitely that. And it was interesting what we saw about inflation. The number of Americans who are very worried about it is continuing to be pretty high. We do see that this year more Democrats than Republicans are worried about it, and that's the opposite of what we saw last year. So some of people's opinions are influenced by what's happening in the political sphere around us right now, and that, if they're more comfortable with the person in the White House, maybe they're more optimistic about how this is going to affect them. But we still do see people concerned about these different economic things just across the board.
What should be our big takeaway from this study?
I think that the takeaway is, we talk about loneliness sometimes, and like, when we talk about family formation and that kind of thing, and that applies to individuals, but I think there's also a sense in which families feel like that sometimes they're going at it alone. And I think that community and policy supports and different ways of being there to support our families. And, we didn't even get into some of the things about, regulating technology and other topics that we talked about in this survey, but like just making, a lot of these things a shared responsibility in our communities, I think is one takeaway.
Yeah. Anything that you'd like to add that maybe I haven't asked you?
I mean, I did mention, the technology and how much support there is for regulating technology. There's a sense that parents really want help setting boundaries with their kids. 90% of Americans do not want phones in classrooms. So there's some interesting things going on there too, as people reckon with what this means for the rising generation in technology.
Allison Pond is with the Wheatley Institute at Brigham Young University. The higher cost of a college education isn't impacting Utahns as much as students from other states. While the cost of attending a four-year college has risen around 30% over the past 20 years, Wallet Hub says Utahns aren't having as much trouble attending college as those other students. Wallet Hub analyst Chip Lupo says there are a number of reasons why the costs have risen so dramatically.
A lot of it is the student loan debt. Plus, legislatures are just constantly raising the price of tuitions at their in-state schools. Number of reasons for why it's going up. But what we tried to do with this particular study is that we wanted to look at how costly it is for residents in each state based on median annual incomes. Because it's very easy to just rank all the states with the most expensive colleges, and in most cases, your northeastern states would be at the top because those are where your highest priced schools are. So we try to take a look at how much of an annual income, median household income, is being devoted or being set aside to pay for college expenses.
Right. So let's focus on Utah. What are you seeing?
Yeah, now the interesting thing about Utah, now what we did is that we analyzed data for 49 and 50 states. We did not have enough reliable data on Alaska, so we excluded them. Now, this is a list where it's good to be at the bottom. Okay, so Utah is 49th out of the 49 states in our survey, spending roughly about almost 28% of their median household income towards higher education. Now, that might seem like a lot, and it is a lot by today's standards, but one thing that Utah has going for it is that the average cost of attendance for a year for undergraduates at in-state institutions, it averages about $25,000 per. Again, pretty steep by today's standards, but Utah has pretty high median annual income of almost $92,000, above the national average. So there's enough income there to offset the costs, which again puts it at about 28%. Now, to put that in perspective, right above Utah at 48 is North Dakota, and Wyoming at 48. Now, their average in-state costs also at about $25,000. So they're on par with Utah, but both of those states have lower median annual income, $74,000 and $75,000 respectively. So they're spending close to a third of their income on education, even though the tuitions are the total packages are about the same for these three states. Because Wyoming and North Dakota have a lower median annual income, they're spending a larger percentage of that income towards higher education.
And then how does Utah compare when it comes to the state that's at the top of that list?
Wow. Now, I got to tell you, when I first looked at this list, when the study came out, and I saw that Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, New York, Massachusetts, Illinois, top 5, the first thing that came to my mind is that, okay, these are all states that have Ivy League schools or elite universities, so obviously the price tag can be higher. But when I looked at it a little further, we're only analyzing undergraduate education for in-state institutions. So that makes these numbers even more staggering. And Pennsylvanians are spending about 72.5% of their median household income on higher education. These are for in-state schools. Rhode Island at 71, New York at 68. So it's a pretty staggering number. Now, of course, you also have to figure and take into account the high price tags of these universities, that the average is like $55,000 in Pennsylvania, with a median household income of about $76,000. Yeah, that's coming out to almost 73% of their income being allocated just for higher education.
So what should be our final takeaway here in the state of Utah then?
Well, Utah has some pretty good bragging rights here because, again, 49th on the list, lowest education spending, cost of attendance reasonable given this environment. So, yeah, Utah should pat itself on the back because it's the most affordable in-state undergraduate education relative to what households earn. It means that they're smart shoppers. Obviously, when it comes to college, a lot of folks are staying in state to go to school, which is key. Managing the rising costs, managing to stay pretty much out of severe debt with student loans, budgeting, and apparently they're adjusting their lifestyles to compensate, because you do have to take into account the cost of living outside of school, particularly if you're living off campus, if you may need to take on a job to pay for your tuition. So Utah apparently is doing all of the right things, and maybe some of these states at the top of the list can look at what the Mountain West in general is doing, Utah, North Dakota, and Wyoming, and then maybe look at what they're doing and maybe try to emulate that.
That is Wallet Hub analyst Chip Lupo talking about the rising cost of higher education and how it's looking here in Utah. Run now, gobble later. More on a run to help women in Utah coming up next. But first is KSL Traffic, sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Ricky?
Right now, we are looking at the Salt Lake County freeways. They are in good shape. The one spot of heavy and slow traffic is southbound I-15 at the South Interchange in Murray. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Hi, I'm Emily, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company, where a small box with a burgundy bow will help you win the holidays. As an in-house designer, I love creating meaningful, fine jewelry gifts. Choose a necklace with a gorgeous infinity charm to symbolize your everlasting love. Or go for a personalized piece with an engraving, their zodiac sign, favorite color gemstone, or their initial accented with pave diamonds, because a friend wants you to be a holiday hero. Stop by or shop now at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Ebenezer Scrooge, you have yet a chance of escaping my fate.
Ah, humbug.
You still have time to get a Mountain America Rewards credit card and earn 3 times the points on every dollar spent, but only through the stroke of midnight on December 31st.
I suppose I can learn to enjoy the holidays with triple rewards.
Apply today and learn more at macu.com/triple.
Membership required based on eligibility. Loans on approved credit offer can change or be withdrawn at any time. Limited time offer. Business cards not eligible.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Utah can count on.
Jim Weber is here from Foothill Oriental Rugs. And Jim, it's always exciting to have you here because then we know it's the semi-annual sale. First of all, you are one of the very few direct importers.
You hear that old cliche, we cut out the middleman, and what it enables me to do is I get better merchandise, more unique merchandise, even have a lot of things specifically made for me, and I can offer them at prices 25% below the industry average. So it's a win-win for me, and it's a win-win for my customers.
What have you got on sale for us?
A 9x12 Tibetan contemporary rug, retail price $95.04, on sale for $28.51. A 5x7 Pakistani silk rug, retail price $24.79, on sale for $9.85. If you've ever needed a rug, this is a great time to come in and look at rugs because our retail prices are better than the industry and average, and right now they're marked down up to 70% off.
Don't miss out. The semi-annual sale is underway now at Foothill Oriental Rugs, 1460 South Foothill Drive, just south of Foothill Village.
A 15-year-old girl who chewed through a rope to escape a serial killer.
I used my front teeth to saw on the rope in my mouth.
The killer prowled the Pacific Northwest in the early 70s. He's been convicted of murdering 2 young women, but suspected of many more.
Maybe there's another one in that area.
Follow and binge all episodes of Stolen Voices of Dole Valley. Available now, wherever you listen.
You were listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. More than 1,000 girls, their coaches, and families will be taking part this weekend in the annual Girls on the Run, Run Now, Gobble Later Community Fun Run. Program manager for Girls on the Run Utah, Jessica Erickson, tells me the event marks the culmination of what the girls have learned throughout the season.
Our 5K celebration is Saturday, and our season comes to an end with this celebratory 5K. So it gives our program participants the opportunity to celebrate this accomplishment of training for and accomplishing running a 5K. And it really is the culmination of all the things that they've learned all through the season, mostly setting small goals and achieving them and doing that step by step every practice and every time they get together as a team.
Yeah, describe for me what the purpose of Girls on the Run is for those folks who may not be familiar with Girls on the Run. Tell us about it.
Yeah. Girls on the Run has the vision to have a joyful, healthy, confident young girl who is empowered to believe in herself. And we utilize running as a way to practice social emotional learning and confidence building skills. As I said, setting those small goals and achieving them, learning to use positive self-talk, learning to speak up for yourself, learning to cheer on your peers, all of those things. Running just happens to be a really good way to practice those things over and over again, and a way to move your body in a healthy and fun way. And research shows that starting at the age of 9, girls really start to drop in their self-esteem, and that is way too young. And starting at age 10, their physical activity drops significantly as well. And only about 16% of girls get that recommended hour of physical activity every day. So we are trying to fill in the gaps there for these girls to make sure that they have the tools that they need to be happy, healthy, and confident.
How many girls participate in the program?
Annually, we serve about 2,000 girls. We have a fall season and a spring season. And we have about 500 volunteer coaches over the course of the year. And those girls come in every shape and size and from every background and from schools all over 11 counties in Utah. We serve anyone who wants to be a part of the program. We will set up a program at any school or any local community center or park where there is a desire and a need. And this fall, we have about 500 participants, girls that have participated in the program, and they will each bring a running buddy to the race, and of course, all of their friends and family and teachers and principals come to support them.
Share with us maybe a story or two from girls that have said what a difference this has made in their lives.
My favorite part about the 5K is that you can see on the girls' faces the sense of accomplishment. It is electric to see a group of young girls believe in themselves and accomplish something difficult. I get really emotional because I have a 5th grade daughter who I would give anything for her to know who she really is and to feel confident in that. And so seeing this in like mass scale at our 5K event is just so moving and so exciting. And then seeing the family celebrate that as well is so amazing. We have so many examples that I hear all the time from coaches of girls who are really able to open up and share things that are difficult and hard and things that they're struggling with in ways that they wouldn't normally with their peers at school or even their parents sometimes. We have a research-backed curriculum that our volunteer coaches are trained to lead on, and it opens up conversations and it enables girls to be a little bit vulnerable and share what's hard for them, and then to support each other and to say, yeah, I feel like that too sometimes. We have countless, examples of girls who just thought, I could never do this. I can think of one girl in particular that I saw at the beginning of the season who was saying, like, I don't want to run. I can't run. I will walk. And that's fine. We always, we encourage any movement. They can skip, hop, jump, cartwheel. It doesn't matter. But by the end of the season, the difference in not only wanting to run, but feeling what it feels like to accomplish that and to And to go from zero to whatever level and to see the change is pretty incredible. We teach the power of I can and also the power of not yet. So can you run a 5K when you start our program? Probably not yet, but slowly after time and after trying over and over again, you get there.
All ages and abilities are invited to participate in the Girls on the Run Fall 5K on Saturday at Sugar House Park. You can learn more at girlsontheRunutah.org/5K. It's 2:30, midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. The government shutdown is over, but the impacts to air travel continue to linger. Additional measles cases in Utah, raising the warning from health officials to get vaccinated before the holidays. And KSL traffic, Ricky.
Traffic getting busy northbound I-15 on the descent into downtown. Maria?
KSL's top local stories in 1 minute. It's 2:30.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. As the government reopens and air travel works to get back to normal, airlines will get a break from the cancellations and delays during the shutdown.
The Department of Transportation says it is withdrawing a Biden-era plan that would have required airlines to compensate passengers and cover expenses if the passengers are significantly delayed due to something in the airline's control. The department saying not requiring airlines to compensate for long delays allows airlines to compete on compensation and that it would have been a burdensome new rule. The airline industry is celebrating the move. The change does not impact current rules in which passengers are entitled to compensation for canceled flights. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Police in Oakland, California say John Beam, the legendary coach and athletic director shot at Laney College yesterday, has died from his injuries. A suspect is in custody. The motive still unknown. On Wall Street, stocks recovered some of the losses from yesterday's sell-off, but the Dow ended 309 points lower. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. Salt Lake County has its first lab-confirmed case of measles. Health Department says the patient is an unvaccinated adult. They are asking anyone who was at the Taylorsville Instacare last Friday between 3 and 7 to monitor for symptoms. Salt Lake City Fire Department is mourning the loss of one of their firefighters who died of cancer earlier this week. Cade Martin had been part of the department since 2016, and in 2022 he received the Medal of Courage for rescuing a victim without regard for his own safety. A GoFundMe raising money for his medical costs said that he was diagnosed in October with a very rare and aggressive form of cancer, and he fought valiantly for 38 days.
KSL Flight Tracker.
Operations at Salt Lake City International Airport seem to be transitioning back to normal now that the government shutdown has come to an end. Director of Airport Operations, Trevor Anderson, says that there are still a few cancellations, but those numbers are much better than even a few days ago.
They've told us that it would take a couple of weeks for things to return to normal. But we're seeing it happen pretty rapidly right now, but we don't know when we won't see any cancellations at all.
Anderson says staffing looks good, so he's optimistic for a smooth Thanksgiving travel. The BYU football team is facing a must-win tomorrow if they hope to keep their Big 12 Conference Championship chances alive. Tomorrow night, the Cougars play host to the Horned Frogs in a late game at LaVelle Edwards Stadium.
It's a typical TCU offense. I mean, they have speed, they have talent on the outside. The running backs have been productive, so a lot of good, a lot of things that we're going to have to gear up for to stop, obviously.
BYU defensive coordinator Jay Hill says 2 years ago the Horned Frogs quarterback gave them some trouble and calls him one of the best they've played in the last 3 years. You can hear that game right here on KSL News Radio. The kickoff is at 8:15. Traffic and weather, sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. And here's Ricky Meese.
Maria, we already have traffic getting busy and slow southbound I-15, Murray to Midvale, and then northbound I-15, traffic a little crowded. If you're trying to get into downtown Salt Lake City, it's busy starting just after 33rd South to 1300 South. Bad weather and parking lots love GoPave Utah. GoPave Utah loves snow. Don't wait for bad weather. Schedule your snow removal service with GoPave Utah. Visit GoPaveUtah.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
These unseasonably warm temperatures staying with us through Saturday. Big change coming on Sunday. High temperatures will drop down into the 50s, and we do have a 60% chance of rain, 50% chance of rain on Monday as well. 68 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
As the temperature sinks a little lower and the wind blows a little harder, next thing you know, the winter cold is going to be seeping in through your old drafty windows. So now's the time to call Advanced Window Products for custom-crafted, state-of-the-art windows that'll seal up your house and cut your heating bill. Get on their schedule before winter, and not only do you get factory direct pricing far below what the big-name companies charged, but Advanced will knock an extra $2,500 off your quote. They'll create beautiful double-pane windows with insulated frames, any style, any color, and the security features to keep your family safe. You'll get a lifetime warranty from a local company in business here for 39 years. Financing? 60 months, 0%. Or even buy now, pay later. So make the call. Seal up the house for winter with $2,500 off on 10 windows or more. Call for a quote, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or go to advancedwindows.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install a Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos.
KSL Flight Tracker.
People looking to travel for Thanksgiving will be encouraged to hear that the nation's airports are starting to get back to normal now that the government shutdown is over. KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson has more on how the airport is doing today.
I spoke with Salt Lake City International Airport's Director of Operations, Trevor Anderson, today. He says they're optimistic that holiday travel is going to go smoothly here.
Things are looking more back to normal, though I think, even with some of the cancellations we had during the week, they knew before they got to the airport, so there wasn't any mass chaos or anything, but it's just, a positive vibe as, people are getting ready to get to the holiday here in a week and a half, and so things are looking good, and lines are moving great. We see planes moving, and I think there's just a more of a feeling in the air of returning to normalcy.
Anderson says their number of cancellations peaked on Monday at 44, and now they're still seeing a few, but that number's gone way down. As of noon, only 12 cancellations were planned at Salt Lake City's airport today and 6 tomorrow.
So one of the reasons we saw flight reductions across the country was because of the number of air traffic controllers who were calling out sick while they weren't being paid during the shutdown. So what is the status of that in Utah?
Anderson told me that actually wasn't really a problem here.
So here locally in Salt Lake, we never really saw any staffing issues per se, and there's reports that are available that we can look at, and we never saw any specific staffing issues here in Salt Lake. I think we were very fortunate, both for the FAA and TSA. We didn't get any indication that there were specific staffing issues here, so very fortunate for us. I think overall with those flight reductions that were kind of across the board for the 40 busiest airports, some fell in that category where there were some staffing issues. But here in Salt Lake, I think we were very fortunate. We just didn't see the same impacts that other areas of the country saw.
U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy had said that flight reductions would remain at 6% instead of rising to 10% by the end of the week as originally planned. He hasn't said yet when those flight reductions mandates will be called off, but we're hearing across the country that it's going to take some time for things to get back to normal. So for now, the order stands. Air traffic controllers missed 2 paychecks during the shutdown, and Anderson says he's hearing that it's going to take anywhere from 2 to 7 days for those controllers to get their back pay.
KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson reporting. Today, there's news of the potential for more massive layoffs in the private sector because of the federal government shutdown. News Nation's Alicia Neves has more.
We're getting word that another company is announcing these mass corporate layoffs. Reuters reporting that Verizon now looking to have its largest layoff ever reported, looking to cut about 15,000 jobs. Verizon told News Nation they have no official comment on that report, but if confirmed, Verizon would join Amazon and UPS, both of which announced these massive job losses and layoffs over the last couple of months or last month or so. All of this hitting as the White House now estimates that 60,000 private sector jobs were permanently lost during the government shutdown, a result of lost revenue and economic output. You have now even Kevin Hassett, the National Economic Council chair, saying that he expects GDP, our gross domestic product, how we measure our economy, that to come in 1.5% lower this quarter because of that government closure. And he's now revising the administration's messaging about the October economic data, saying now that some of that data might be recoverable.
The September jobs report has already been cooked, and we expect we might get that next week. It just hadn't been released. The October employment report for the payroll side will be able to be calculated, but the household survey wasn't completed, so we'll get sort of half a jobs report. Most everything else, I think, we'll be able to concoct the correct number after we look back. But we will never know what the unemployment rate was in October because there wasn't a household survey.
So as a result of all of this confusion, markets yesterday just tumbled. The Dow lower by at least 1.5%, NASDAQ 2.33%.
Alicia says yesterday markets were reacting to fears that the lack of full economic picture could mean that the Fed can't make an interest rate cut next month. Make sure you stick with KSL News Radio as we continue to track the long-term effects of the 43-day government shutdown. Updates and analysis on air and online at kslnewsradio.com. The owner of the San Diego Padres is looking to possibly sell the franchise, and it just so happens Utah is trying to get a Major League Baseball team. Any chance of the Padres moving here? KSL News Radio's Adam Small has been looking into it.
I talked with a few Utahns about the idea, including Benjamin Merrill, who's not a baseball fan but says he would be excited to see the Padres come to Utah and would probably even go to a game.
I think any pro sports team coming to Salt Lake would be great for the state.
State Representative Ryan Wilcox is on the honorary advisory board for Big League Utah, the group that's been trying to get a team here. He says with how great San Diego Stadium and fans are, he can't see a scenario the city would be willing to let them go, but
if that became real and San Diego was really interested in letting that team go with that ownership group to a Utah franchise, we would absolutely be interested.
Wilcox says while they're open to relocation, he still thinks it's more likely that if we do get a team, it'll come via expansion, which likely won't happen until at least after the 2026 MLB season. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Do you want to walk, play pickleball, and enjoy other fun activities to stay healthy, but you can't because of bad feet? Hi, this is Mike, and the Good Feet store wants to help.
I just had difficulty walking. I tried them on in the store, and my foot felt so much better.
Do you keep buying new shoes and inserts with little or no relief?
I tried all kinds of shoes. It was the arch supports that made the difference from the Good Feet store.
Don't let bad feet, knees, or back problems get in the way of staying healthy and having fun.
Thanks to the Good Feet store, I'm bowling 3 nights a week.
Get back to doing what you love. At the Good Feet store, we'll personally fit you at high-quality arch supports to maximize your comfort. Stop in the Good Feet store or book your free fitting at goodfeet.com. We have locations in Farmington, Riverton, and Sandy.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
The first lab-confirmed case of measles has come to Salt Lake County. Gabriel Marino with the Salt Lake County Health Department says the case comes from an unvaccinated adult who doesn't know how they were exposed. Marino says they do know the patient was at the Taylorsville Instacare near 39th West and 47th South on Friday, November 7th between 3 and 7:15 in the evening.
And we want to make a note of that because we know that measles can linger up in the air for up to 2 hours. So anyone there during that time frame may have been exposed even without direct contact to this individual. So what people should do is that if you were at that location, check your vaccination records right away. You can do that by going on the mobile app called Docket, or you can come physically to any of our clinics throughout the valley and we can look up those records for you. But if you develop symptoms, fever, cough, runny nose, red eyes, or rash, make sure to stay home and call your healthcare provider before going in to make sure that they make the adequate arrangements to see you in person.
Marino says for those who have received the MMR vaccine, it's important that you receive both doses.
2 doses of the MMR vaccine provide excellent protection, more than 97%. If you're not sure whether you've received both doses, it's totally safe to get another one. And in terms of risk, the risk overall is very low for anyone who's fully vaccinated. But unvaccinated individuals, including children too young to be vaccinated, are more likely to have serious complications.
You can get more information on preventing measles as well as the latest measles numbers in the state by visiting epi.utah.gov. Today's measles news raises some important questions about keeping your family safe at Thanksgiving. Nicholas Rupp with the Salt Lake County Health Department tells KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson, step one is making sure your vaccines are up to date.
It is definitely the time of year to be mindful about your vaccination status, whether it's respiratory illnesses or measles. Before you gather for the holidays, before you get together for Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, Christmas, whatever you might be doing with your family, loved ones, people from around the state or around the country, make sure you are protected. We know we have measles in Utah. We know that people will be traveling around the holidays and perhaps could be traveling through areas of Utah or other parts of the nation that have transmission of measles and of course other illnesses like COVID, influenza, RSV. And so it's important to be protected because vaccination is the most effective way at protecting yourself and your family.
Rupp also says right now is a great time to seek out a vaccine.
Most vaccines will provide full protection after 2 weeks after you get vaccinated. And so there is still some time to get vaccinated before the Thanksgiving holiday. But even if you're not getting that full protection, your body will begin to use the vaccine to build some immunity within a few days. So it's really never too late, but it would be best to do it now.
And Pamela Gomez with the Utah Department of Health and Human Services says there is a higher chance that you or a loved one could be hospitalized around this time of year, and not just because of the measles.
With Thanksgiving and holidays and winter coming up around, it's important to stay protected and get your flu shot and stay up to date with your COVID shot as well. And if you are an older adult, so above 50 years, between 50 and 65 years, and you have chronic medical conditions, or you're over 65, then we also recommend that you get your RSV vaccine.
Gomez says older adults can be at higher risk for complications from RSV, things like pneumonia. She says also keeping a close eye on flu season. She recommends for all of these vaccines, COVID, flu, RSV, and measles, you should talk to your medical provider.
And they can instruct you on how to best approach this decision and whether you're eligible to get all of these 3 vaccines. Like I mentioned, the RSV vaccine, older adults are really the ones that are eligible for it. Most people experience a mild illness with RSV. Infants are the other category of individuals that are at higher risk for RSV. So if you are a pregnant mother or you have an infant, then definitely talk to your healthcare provider about how you can protect your child.
Rupp says reduced herd immunity is a concern.
Of course, we are concerned about measles, given that we have been seeing cases around the nation and in Utah. And this is an illness that has previously been declared eradicated in the United States. But of course, because of some lack of vaccination in certain populations, it has been able to come back. And so we are concerned about measles. It's important to ensure you are up to date on your MMR, whether that's 1 or 2 doses, depending on your age and history. And then at this time of year, as we enter into winter, we're always concerned about those seasonal respiratory illnesses, flu, COVID for older adults and the youngest children, RSV as well. All of these are vaccine preventable, and the vaccines are very safe and effective.
You can check your vaccine status using the Docket app and learn more about what's recommended for each age group at immunize.utah.gov. It's Friday, and that means it's almost time to finish off today's Midday with the Arrow's John Smith as we take a look at cool stuff in Utah. But first, it's KSL Traffic, sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Ricky?
We do have a new accident. It's in Weber County, southbound I-15 at the I-84 junction in Riverdale, but out of traffic. And then in Salt Lake County, an accident southbound I-15 just after Bangalore Highway. Now, it's over to the left, but it is adding to some heavy and slow traffic stretching back through Draper. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Do you have chirping smoke detectors? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and if you've ever experienced chirping smoke detectors, you already know how annoying it can be. A great first step to try and stop the chirping is to change the batteries. If the chirping continues, it's possible that your smoke detector has gone bad. As a matter of fact, a lot of people don't even realize that manufacturers recommend replacing the smoke detector altogether after 10 years. If you remove the smoke detector from the wall, on the back you should find a date of when it was made. Do a little math and you'll know how old it is. Now, Any Hour Services knows being a homeowner means you've got a list a mile long of things to do around the house, and check my electrical system probably isn't one of them. That's why we've put together this radio special for any homeowners listening. One of our licensed electricians will perform a comprehensive inspection of your electrical system that includes testing those smoke detectors and give you a full written report for only $29. But you have to mention this ad when you call. Call Any Hour Services to schedule at 801-443-7300. 801-443-7300. Any Hour Services.
KSL Broadcast Group contests are open to participants 18 years of age and older that are residents of Utah, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest may not enter. Persons who have won in the last 30, 60, or 90 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available at kslnewsradio.com/contests.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
Here's the tale of the daily Medfield. Same old pharmacy, same old bill, but those prices kept rising higher still.
Till the savings wrangler rode in, cool as can be. Tap Good RX, saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. The deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang. That one little app does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check Good RX. Good RX is not insurance.
At Common Spirit Health, we know that lifelong health and well-being starts with primary care. So we have doctors and providers who see you, hear you, know you, and understand you. Because understanding you means understanding your needs. And that leads to a deeper knowledge of the prevention, wellness, and treatment options that may be best for you. It's primary care that treats your whole family like family. It's primary care with human kindness. Discover all the ways you can find and connect with a primary care provider at mountain.commonspirit.org.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos, and it's Friday, and time for cool stuff in Utah with the Arrow's John Smith. And John, I understand you have a new video out this week.
Oh, I have a treat for you.
Okay, I'm ready.
This is a treat. This week, we visit the post office.
Okay, but you were supposed to be taking us places that people can't go. And you know what? Most of us can still go to the post office. We may not be going to the post office, but we could still go there.
You can go to the front of the post office, but can you go into the Salt Lake Postal Annex and look at the behind the scenes? Okay, so walk with me on this one.
Okay.
You're a Gen Xer like me. You remember the Mr. Rogers episode where he goes to the crayon factory?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like that. That's what I was going for when I made this video. We went to the Salt Lake Postal Annex, 278,000 square feet of mail. This is where every piece of mail that comes into the state of Utah is processed, sorted, put into trucks, and shipped out.
Describe for us what that looks like.
Millions of pieces of mail every single day. So imagine a giant factory. It looks like, it kind of looks like a mail room.
Really? Can't imagine.
Imagine 100 mail rooms, all in one factory, processing everything from junk mail and bills to human remains as it travels.
What?
Yes. Hey, if you're shipping sample tissues, cadavers, or if grandma died in Pennsylvania and you want to ship her home for a funeral, guess who has to do that?
You made that job sound a lot less
Postal
attractive
Service.
than it did earlier.
Yeah, and that's all in the video if you go look at cool stuff in Utah.
Okay, are there like conveyor belts or
conveyor belts, rollers, vacuum tubes? People, they let me push some of the buttons.
Yeah, I'm worried. Which buttons did they let you push?
They let me sort some mail. So Trevor in Taylorsville, you may not be getting your letter from Grandma this Christmas. Hopefully there wasn't any cash in there.
Right.
But yeah, I had a lot of fun. And I got to pay a special tribute to my Little League baseball coach and my best friend's dad growing up. He was a mailman, worked in this facility, recently passed away. So we were able to pay special tribute to him in this as well.
Okay. Anything else you want to share about that?
We have so much stuff coming up this week. You want to talk about that?
I'm excited to hear about that.
Okay,
What?
so tonight,
yes,
at the ballpark at America First Square, FM 100.3, flipping the switch to Christmas music.
And KSL's going to be there too.
Oh, are you guys going to be there?
It's going to be a big thing, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I know that normally that's a big secret, but this year they're letting everybody come on out. So 5 to 7 tonight, that's going on. Let's see. Oh, tomorrow night, or is it tonight? Tonight's Friday, right? Yeah, I get my days mixed up. Mammoth taking on the Islanders. That's going to be at the Delta Center. Then, starting tonight and going through the whole weekend, speed skating World Cup going on out at the Olympic Oval in Kearns.
Wow.
So if you ever have had any interest or have been curious about speed skating, this is a perfect way to get involved. As a former speed skater, yeah, I know, right?
How can you do all these things in one lifetime, John?
Oh, I was a teenager. I stopped doing it because I didn't want to wear the tight suit. True story. The Jazz are in town Sunday night taking on the Bulls. You got Trans-Siberian Orchestra in town on Wednesday, my birthday, by the way.
Oh, happy birthday early.
Let's see. What else? Oh, John Legend is at the Maverick Center next week. There's a lot of stuff coming up. There's some cool stuff in Utah, man.
All right. You can see all of John Smith's cool stuff in Utah videos on YouTube. Now, you tell me, Jeff Kaplan, that you know all about the flipping of the switch tonight.
Yeah, the flipping of the switch happens at the same time all the holiday lights come on. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of them. There's a candy cane lane on the baseball field.
What?
You get to walk the bases. Oh, it's going to be awesome tonight.
I'm excited to hear about that. And you've got Eric Cabrera there.
Yeah, he's going to be there, and I think we're going to try and carry it live when they flip the switch tonight.
All right. Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News is next.